Good morning, players. My name is Laramie, and I would like to share with you a piece of software that I wrote called Infinite Neck. So what you do is you go in your browser to this address, and your screen then should look like mine if you're in Chrome or Firefox and not on an Android browser, but like a real desktop. Okay, so now that I'm here, I'm gonna go full screen, get rid of the browser Chrome, so we can just focus on this. It looks like a full screen app, but in fact, it's a browser app that I've just gone full screen. So there's a number of menu items here I can mess around with. I'll do those in separate videos. Right now, we're just going to focus on using the neck to create a basic 3-bar blues. But I will show you a few things that are here. This is the menu bar. This is the title. It shows you how many sections you got, what key you're in, and then for each instrument there's more information. But the basic instrument is the nut, the keys. Each of these cells represents a string at a fret. And then I've got the diamonds down here. This thing down here is called the transport. I can drag it around. It's kind of like the Pro Tools transport. It shows sections. It shows the keys I'm in. It allows me to go to the first section, the last section, and then change within beats. I can record stuff and I can loop it once I've got multiple sections. A section is like a bar. It could be multiple bars, but it's where the groove is continuous over the same chord, effectively, or mode. So let's say we've got one section. Let's create some more sections. New section, new section. And now you see that I can go to the last section, and there it'll be 3 out of 3, or the first section 1 out of 3. All right, so what's up with these squares? Now, let's say that if I were actually going to finger this, I would say, let's do finger 1 is there, and then finger 2 might be there. So that is kind of an accurate representation of where we're going to place our finger on the fret. But consider that this whole cell is then that fingering. So if we take those off and we say, well, let's just place a note in a cell, that would look like this. Okay, so there's a C, and it's a 1, which is, we're in the key of C, so when you play a C, the function is 1. That's the 1. And then up here is the 3, which would be an E. And then over here, that's the dominant 7. That's my little symbol for dominant 7. We'll get into that later, but every note has a symbol. So if we were looking at that one, that's a major 7. Whereas this is a 6 and a flat 6. Okay, so let's just take those out of there. So I've got my dominant 7 ready for my blues. I'm in the key of C. I'm in section 1. All right, let's go to the next section. And in the next section, which would be the second bar of a 3-bar blues, it's not really 3-bar, you know what I mean. Then, sorry, we're going to do an F for the second section. Notice that the function numbers are weird because we're still in the key of C. And then we're going to go to the next section, and we're going to bring it home with a G. So there's a G dominant 7, but the function numbers and colors and everything are relative to the key of C. So this is kind of a jazz way of thinking about it, that the key doesn't change, but when you go to the 4 chord, here's the 4 chord in section 2. The 4 chord is still in the key of C. If you want to look at it another way, you can go to the section, change the key of each section. Say that's an F, and in the next section, we're going to go to the key of G. So here we have first section, key of C, 1, 3, dominant 7. Next section, key of F, 1, 3, dominant 7. Next section, key of G, 1, 3, dominant 7. So that's another way of thinking about the same song. But let's turn it back to C, because it's kind of interesting. So I'm going in the key of F. I'm going to go back to C. Okay. Hitting escape always closes up all the menus and options. So now we've got something. We can loop our song. And we can change the file BPM. Let's go 240. Boom. All right, so now the beats per minute is faster. I used a little thing there called the command line. I'll show that in another video. You could also find that same information, BPM, here. So this whole program is designed so that there's these buttons get you one access, and then hitting the slash key brings up the command line, which lets you do things from the keyboard without using the mouse. So here we are, we're looping. That is a basic blues. So what if I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to be stuck there on the net. I want to choose some neck. I want to choose some other voicings that might sound better. Or I just want to expand my skill and play up the neck, which is the real purpose of this program. So let's then go to named notes, and we'll stop looping. And you can record while it's looping. So let's say I really wanted to understand this one. So when I have a named note, I did a little sneaky boo there. I used a keyboard shortcut to change from named notes to fixed notes, but those are here. So I can go 6 key for named, 7 key for single, 8 key for tiny, and so on. So right now we're going to go single notes. I'm sorry, we're going to go named notes. We've already done the single notes. So what is a named note? A named note is anything like this. I click on one D, and every D on the neck is highlighted. I click on it again, it goes away. So there's no copy and paste, there's no delete. You click it again. So when and then it knows that there's notes stacked here. There's a named note behind a single note. And if I put on a highlight note, that also hangs out, and there's ways to make it more visible. We'll get into that later. All right, so back to named notes. If I want to understand where the 5s are, I just click on a 5 or a G in this case, and all the 1s and 5s are now. So let's go ahead and do that for the 3. It snuck a named note behind my single note and then showed it everywhere else on the neck. And we'll hit the dominant 7 too. So there it is on the entire neck. I can play any of these. I could come over here and say, no, I want to play this one. Right? I want to play this kind of shape. I have the fingers to do that. Not really. This one is playable, right? You kind of bar it and then sneak your ring finger over here. You can play that one just fine. I could also just say, well, I've got the chord established. I want a solo. So I could actually play this one, then this one, then that one, then that one. Okay? And we can actually set those up to automate it, but we'll do that in another video. So this gives me all the notes I can play and the notes I want to play. Now, the problem here is that they're kind of all stepping on top of each other. So let's just turn the named note opacity down. Okay, so now in a much more subtle color, we've got all the notes I could play, and then in nice bright. Now, we can just loop this while we talk. So there they are. the first bar has all the named notes. The next one, I didn't show them. If I wanted to put them in, or if I say, yeah, I really want to know where the 5 is in this section for the F, for example, just mash on that. That didn't work. Okay. We'll go to that section. There's the F. There's the 5 for the F. Oops, the 5 has a 1 on it. Why is that? Well, because in the key of F, C is the 5. But we're in the key of C, so the C is 1. So that's what you can play around with, is if I'm in one key, what are the notes involved in this chord I'm playing? And if I wanted to see all, it'd be like that. And if I really do want to think that I'm in the key of C, the key of F, I can go in this section. I can change to the key of F. And now here we are. 1, 3, 5 being a C and an E. And as I loop, we'll see the key change. So here we are. The key is shown here and it's changing. The key is shown in the transport and it's changing. It depends on which song you're learning, what style you want to do, and whether you're kind of thinking of it in a blues way or a jazz way. All right, so that is the program. And there's a lot more features. I'll show them in other videos. And for now, I hope you fire up the program in your web browser and give it a try. And if you don't play P4, I'll just show you real quickly. Just choose another tuning and then uncheck the P4. So for example, like that. Okay. So now B and C, everything's moved around a little bit. Okay. That's it for now. Peace out.